Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the making of album number 5. It's been about 3 weeks since the last video now, and probably slightly longer than that since we were last in the studio. Since then, Owen has sent over a bunch of rough studio mixes of all the tracks that we've been working on. We can now use those tracks to listen to that, and we can figure out stuff like if we want to add different overdubs, more overdubs, tweak arrangements, stuff like that, so we know what we're doing when we go back into the studio early next year. I can also start thinking about things like, you know, the order of the tracks and how they'll be on the album as well, which helps with things like artwork, moving along other stuff in the background. So let's have a listen to what we've got. If you want to listen to any of these in full, by the way, if you join the Patreon, you can hear some of this stuff. I'll be uploading some of these, or if not all of these tracks, on the Patreon at some point. But in the interim, let's have a listen, shall we? Right. So track 1, I've been making notes of all my thoughts of these in the document, which I'll also go through. BBS. If we remember, it sounds like this. Let's see what notes I made for this one. So after my first listen ideas were single note or noise or something on that stop note. So there's a bit where there's a sudden stop in this, which is around. Oh, here it is. That, just one little note about putting something else on that little stop bit. So yeah, that's what that one's sounding like at the moment. It's pretty much a fairly sort of like rough and ready indie rock tune, that one. It sounds quite good how it is. So we've got Don't Believe the Hype. None of these, by the way, have been, this is a rough mix. This is just where we are at the moment. These will go through another mixing and mastering process at the end of all this when we've finished everything. So don't start thinking, man, mix, the voice is a bit low in the mix or high in the mix or whatever else you might be thinking. It will change again. Don't Believe the Hype. A song about Scott being obsessed with buying kitchen gadgets.
Plastic, chrome and rotary blades. Essential things are just a phase.
What do we say about this one?
You know you should never leave Scott alone with QVC. It's just another fantasy. It's never ever what it seems. So don't.
So percussion coming on the second verse, that's like quite a bit of an obvious one sometimes. It's like it sounds nice when something else catches your ear, and the second verse just to differentiate it from the first verse. And in my head I could kind of hear it there, that when we go into
It's never no, don't believe the hype. You got it all covered. No, don't believe the hype.
so around here it goes I could hear that in my mind's eye. And then on the middle 8, did I say middle 8? Background instrument on the middle. So yeah, the middle 8's got this tom-tom bit.
They just don't revel, they just don't perform. Bunch of gadgets.
Feel like something under that.
Just don't perform.
I don't know what yet. First impressions are something. These feelings weigh a ton. This is a really cool. I'm really liking how this one turned out. This one's changed quite a bit. This is kind of, it started off as an acoustic sounding track, which sounded like this.
These feelings weigh a ton.
And then we went into a rehearsal room and we rehearsed it together. And Scott had this really cool drum intro, and then Dave did this kind of Flaming Lips-esque bass thing on it. And in the rehearsal room, it sounded like this. And now we've kind of got something that combines the two, and it sounds like this. Must be what it feels like to be with Beato, just sitting there talking over music, commenting, waving your finger around and pointing and just saying stuff like, listen to that, that's 4/4, that is. Hear the subtle reverb on those vocals. Anyway, what notes did I make on that one? Way. Feelings wear turn. Yeah, vocals I thought should maybe come in a bar later. It felt like they came in a little bit too soon. I feel like one extra bar of the intro would be good. Something like a synth or synthetic string over the chorus. I feel like something underneath the chorus, a really subtle thing, like maybe just a synth, just, you know, like a single line, note or a chord played on a synth or synthetic strings. A subtle arpeggio. I had this, you know, when you press a key on a synthesizer and you press it and it goes, did I say arpeggio? So it's an arpeggio. I know how to say that word. When you press one key on the synth and it does that pattern, I've forgotten the name of it, like that, where it plays it, you press one key and it's like, and it's that thing over the D chord. There's a D chord in it. It's probably not D because I'll probably use a capo, but when I'm playing this chord that kind of takes it back into the verse, I feel like it could hear that bit. That thing could be there. Next up, we have How Should I Know? How should I know?
I saw a subtle difference in the lighting. I heard a subtle change in key.
Hear that bit? I wanted a bit, like when I did that, I did it on guitar, the little arpeggio that plays underneath what I'm singing. It's not even, I don't think it's singing, I think it's instrumental. Just the R's. It's got R's and it's got this arpeggio that plays. And I wanted that arpeggio done on a banjo. I can't play banjo, I don't own a banjo. Owen has this thing called, it's either called a guitar-jo or a bantar, whatever it is. It's halfway between guitar and banjo. And it plays exactly like you're playing a guitar, but it looks and sounds like a banjo. So we use that for this overdub. What other exciting things can I tell you about that song? Should I know? What did we say? Nothing else. So nothing else must have popped into my head on that one, because we did quite a lot to that song and there was quite a lot done on the demo. So nothing struck me immediately. Lullabies. This one is one where it's not rough around the edges, and I wanted it to sound orchestral and cinematic and very precise. And I sat in the studio with Owen on the last day of the last time we were there, and we were adding these additional tweaks and things to make the drum sound more kind of cinematic with these little overdubs. I'll show you what I mean.
to make you
kettle
cry.
drum sounding thing.
Maybe you should maybe try to make it on your own. Trying to be a lonely star, trying hard to break your heart to make.
I'm gonna put a lot more time into that one to make it sound, that will be really big and layered up. Possibly some real strings on there as well. What did I put for my make guitar plucking sound like the demo was one of my notes. So the demo has a weird kind of, it sounds quite trebly and almost like it's being played down a telephone, the guitar part, the plucking bit. And then I'd like the vocals to sound quite dreamy, and you know, we put them in the distance, reverby, delayed. Not right now. This, we had a lot of fun with this, messing around again. Like I was with Owen on the last day, the last time we were in the studio. We were coming up with a bunch of different ideas for vocals on this one, the backing vocals, and where you've got that "not right now" bit. If you remember the song, I'll play you a bit now. That's guitar. That's vocals. I'm Rick Beato. So the chorus goes "not right now," and we came up with these parts where it's going "not right now." So it's like it goes "nah, no, not," like a lot of repeating those phrases in the background in a higher pitch, which I think Owen added some and I added some. We layered a bunch of stuff up, and then repeating the bit. So it goes "not right now." It goes "nah, no, nah, right now, 'cause you've got some place to be," and then having this repetition of "you've got some place to be, you've got some place to be," but this one sounding quite indie rock, alt rock, raucous, rough around the edges, just a nice up tempo, easy indie rock song. You can hear that you've got some place to be on the next bit, I think. Yeah, it's better. Not right now. Quit. What did I put? Did I actually put any notes first? Not right now. Not right now. Notes. Nothing. I was happy. Or nothing popped into my head. Right. Quit. No notes for Quit. Did quite a lot of work on it in the demo. When you've got nothing left to give. Was very happy with the demo, so happy to stay true to that. So Quit is Quit. It will stay as Quit. Selfish Man. Shaker coming in at 220, so that was one idea. Where is 220? So Shaker coming around here. Tried and tested idea. If things are cliche, things are good. Everyone loves a cliche. Right. Let me see. What is the next one? Space to Breathe. This is an interesting one. Because, why is this an interesting one? This is interesting because it had guitar on it. It had lead guitar, and that was that kind of made up the melody. The guitar that I put on there, I like the melody, but not the guitar, because it sounded a bit too cheesy in the original. It sounded like this in the original. So we replaced that with a vintage keyboard that Aaron had. So he played those parts again on this vintage keyboard. So it now sounds like this. That keyboard sound reminds me, it used to be a band, and I think they were Cambridge based, called Fuzzy Lights or Fuzzy Logic, and they had a song called King of the Underground. It was a great song, but it had a keyboard bit that's not a keyboard bit, it had a keyboard sound that sounded like that. They used a keyboard, and I saw them live once or twice, and they had a keyboard that sounded just like that keyboard. It might have been the same one. I'm just going to go back quickly to How Should I Know? Because on How Should I Know, I thought the intro, I can't remember how we did it, but the Simon, UK Simon Morgan, who worked on some tracks, he did a track on the last album. He's played keyboards on a couple of tracks on this one. He did a little piano outro for this song, and we ran it. I wanted it kind of run through some kind of a sound effect that would make it sound like the Westworld bar piano, that kind of not quite right piano, slightly out of tune piano. And that's that. Thank you for that, Simon. Before we went back, let's go forwards again. Space to Breathe, 10%. Did I make any notes for Space to Breathe? No. 10%. No notes for 10%.
10% of nothing is nothing.
Quite a subdued, kind of dreamy song is what I'm going for there. The beginning bit, I started off with just synth R's. It reminded me a little bit of, after I did it, of that's the beginning of Starmy Kitten by R.E.M. But I kind of think, I listened to that again, I thought, oh, they did that synth vocal thing. And I don't think they did do synth vocal, they did real vocals. We're using a mixture of the two for those R's. So we've got myself and Owen doing some R's in there. He can do R smooth than I can do an R. I always sound a little bit croaky with a little bit of vocal fry when I do it. So it's a mixture of that with the synthetic R's. And finally on here we've got bars like these. Bars like these, I think we're going to make this the last track on the album. It's one where I thought it'd be quite cool to just be, I would just play the song, and however I played it and sang it at the same time, that will be the recording of it. So I did multiple takes of that until I did one that sounded good. So it is literally, saying literally is like a bit of a crutch, isn't it? It's like one of those things that I'm not going to do it metaphorically, am I? I literally did this. Right. This is a song called Bars Like These. No, it's not. This is. No overdubs, nothing. It'll just be the last track. It will just be as it is.
Inebriated, everyone is talking over everyone. And there's a joke hidden in the laughter that you all know.
So there we go. That's where we are at the moment. I'll probably drop those some of those tracks into Cubase at some point and mess around with some different overdubs and stuff with them as well. And then we'll be back in the studio early next year. in the interim, I'll be doing that and figuring out the artwork as well at some point. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to, feel free to leave a comment, like and subscribe and all the rest of it. It all helps. All of those, I don't know what they do. They do something, but you know. Thank you for watching. Bye.